Oliver Stone's Alexander is one of those rare films that inspires intense reactions. Despite its rocky reception, there are real reasons why it deserves a second look, especially for fans of epic cinema and history.
We are here today as Macedonian free men!
Released in 2004, Alexander is an ambitious portrayal of Alexander the Great, one of history's most complex, enigmatic leaders. Stone attempted what few filmmakers dared to do: bring to life the monumental story of a young king who conquered vast empires, reshaped history, and challenged the cultural boundaries of his time. Many missed the brilliance behind this attempt, instead focusing on some unconventional choices. But Alexander stands as a visually stunning, historically rich, and deeply psychological film with layers worth uncovering. Stone's approach to Alexander's story was bold and unapologetic. The film dives deeply into the personality of Alexander, portrayed by Colin Farrell, showing him as more than just a conqueror. It's about a man conflicted between his upbringing, his ideals, and his immense ambitions. What the film captures, unlike any other portrayal of Alexander, is his humanity, the emotional roller coaster of a person who has the world's expectations on his shoulders. Through this lens, we get a glimpse of how Alexander might have grappled with feelings of isolation, the struggle between ambition and morality, and his relationships with his father, his mother, and his companions. Farrell's Alexander is both vulnerable and powerful, a character full of contradictions, which is a refreshing departure from the typical warrior-hero archetype. Visually, the movie is a feast for the eyes. Stone and his team recreated ancient landscapes, from the palaces of Macedonia to the deserts of Persia, with a meticulous level of detail. The costumes, props, and set designs are exceptional, and they bring the world of 300 BC to life with authenticity and beauty. Watching Alexander, viewers are transported into an era of myth and legend, where grand palaces and vast battlefields dominate the scene. Stone worked with some of the best cinematographers, costume designers, and set builders to deliver a visually powerful experience, one that feels both expansive and immersive. The sweeping landscapes and massive set pieces make the audience feel the weight of Alexander's ambitions, the vastness of his empire, and the difficulties he faced as he ventured farther from home. One of the most notable and controversial aspects of Alexander is its depiction of Alexander's complex relationships, especially his love for his lifelong friend Hephaestion. The film's portrayal of Alexander's sexuality and his deep bond with Hephaestion is one of the reasons it received criticism upon release. Yet, this is also where Alexander shines. It doesn't shy away from exploring the intimate aspects of a character that history often reduces to military exploits. Stone's choice to show these dimensions was daring, and in many ways it humanizes Alexander. He becomes not just a figure on a pedestal, but a man who loved deeply, who forged emotional bonds, and whose relationships influenced his decisions and ultimately his legacy. The battle sequences in Alexander are another point of brilliance in the film. Stone carefully recreated the tactics, formations, and weapons used in ancient warfare, delivering some of the most intense and realistic battle scenes in historical cinema. The Battle of Gaugamela, in particular, stands out for its scale and choreography. Unlike many modern war films that rely heavily on CGI, Alexander features practical effects and hundreds of extras to bring the chaotic brutality of ancient combat to life. The sound design, the visuals, and the energy of these scenes allow viewers to feel the intensity and unpredictability of Alexander's military campaigns, showing just how revolutionary his tactics were. This attention to detail provides a realistic portrayal of how Alexander's armies, though often outnumbered, were able to defeat some of the world's most formidable foes. Historical accuracy is another of Alexander's strong suits. While no historical film can capture every nuance accurately, Stone made an admirable effort to stay true to the essence of Alexander's story. He consulted historians, read ancient sources, and tried to depict key events and figures as authentically as possible. The film's portrayal of Alexander's campaigns, from his encounter with King Darius of Persia to his expedition into India, showcases the scale and ambition of his conquests. Stone included cultural details from the ancient Macedonian and Persian worlds, which gives audiences a richer understanding of the cultural diversity Alexander encountered. This historical immersion is rare in Hollywood, where films often prioritize spectacle over accuracy. In Alexander, however, Stone wanted to respect the historical material, offering viewers an educational experience alongside an epic story. Alexander also delves into the psychological and philosophical questions that might have haunted the real Alexander. The movie suggests that Alexander was driven by more than just a thirst for conquest. He had a vision of uniting the known world, of blending cultures and creating a lasting legacy. This vision, however, comes at a cost, and Alexander doesn't shy away from showing the psychological toll of his pursuits. The film is as much about the sacrifices and moral conflicts Alexander faced as it is about his triumphs. Farrell's portrayal of Alexander captures the turmoil of a young man trying to prove himself, haunted by his father's legacy and by the weight of his own ambitions. This psychological depth adds a layer of tragedy to Alexander's story, portraying him as a hero with a flawed, vulnerable side. While Alexander may not have resonated with all viewers upon its initial release, the film has gained appreciation over time. Many now see it as a daring and unique portrayal of one of history's most influential figures, a film that dared to present Alexander as a complex, multidimensional character rather than just a military icon. It's a movie that invites audiences to consider the personal side of one of the most legendary figures in history, with all the passion, turmoil, and ambition that comes with it. One of the most striking aspects of Alexander is its exploration of legacy. The film suggests that Alexander's greatest conquest was not the territory he gained, but the cultural influence he left behind. His efforts to blend Greek, Persian, and Indian cultures, and his dream of a united world, became his enduring legacy. In many ways, Stone's Alexander is less about the battles and more about the dreams and ideals that shaped Alexander's life and his impact on the world. The movie leaves us with the question of what truly defines greatness. Is it the land we conquer, the power we hold, or the dreams we inspire in others? In the end, Alexander is an ambitious, visually stunning and introspective film that gives us a nuanced portrait of a historical figure often shrouded in myth. It may not follow the traditional epic formula, but it's precisely this unorthodox approach that makes Alexander a film worth watching. Oliver Stone's portrayal of Alexander as a passionate, flawed, and driven leader brings us closer to understanding the human side of a legendary figure. So, while Alexander might not have fit the typical blockbuster mold, it's a movie that deserves recognition for its artistic risks, its depth, and its dedication to portraying the complexity of Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great is one of the few men in history that earned the name he was given. We hope you enjoyed our video essay on Oliver Stone's Alexander and invite you back for more movie reviews and opinions of pop culture.